Well, hello there, this is Mad Dog Wolfus. Welcome back to my series. Got to go for a slightly different change. Recently I've been trying to make some vanilla build ships, which I've never been really good at. A couple of weeks ago I did build two. I built two more, well, one with an upgraded version last night. That was on Xocliw's live stream. That was fun and scary at the same time, because you never knew where the hell you were going. I haven't actually got any footage of that. I thought this time I'll waylay and not actually take any footage of it. It was fun, it was awesome. I'm sure you'll find the video footage on Xocliw's on his YouTube webpage. He's a Twitch streamer. Very good. I'm always watching him to get any new hints and tips and everything like that. I've always wanted to be in a build off as well. Now that was fun. I've never done one. My heartbeat was going 90 to the dozen. But I just thought I'd show you what I built last night, and two previous ships and my first ever large ship. It's still in the production phase, so bear with me. Here we go. Look at that sunrise. Still there. And what's this over here? Oh, hello. These are my ships. We have got the, if I've got to remember the names right, the Grobbler. Don't ask me why it was the first name that came to my head. And this didn't really take too long to make. It's fully survivable, capable in space. It has all the amenities you need. As you can see, forward weapons, rockets. This one I built up basically as a quick response light interceptor. But as you can see by the manoeuvrability just there, it's got quite a few gyros. If I go to spectator, turn that off. Have a quick look inside of the ship. She's very compact. Does a job, and everything works pretty well actually. I haven't tested out the connector down the bottom there, but if I remember rightly, I have connected it all up, so it should, in theory, work. In theory, I think I did. Yeah, that's all connected. That's fine. It's all set up, ready to go, with a forward light on it. Grobbler, light interceptor. She flies well, very, very quick and nimble. Can't remember how many gyros I've got in this thing actually. Let's have a look. That's if I can find them. I have got 3 gyros, 4 gats, 2 missiles, a whole slew of ion thrusters, 2 landing gears, remote control as always. Got to have an antenna as well, which is just there. I have to rename that. And look at how many reactors I've got in this thing. I'll put a whole load of small reactors in it. And there you go, that's that one. Welcome out that one. Now, this was going to be trying like a gunship style. It kind of not looks even. I've got to sort that out. I've got to finish building it fully. I took the design for the outer wings from the TIE Interceptor slightly, but the forward area was my complete build. I was trying to build it so that the cockpit actually had quite a bit of protection. Bulky front end. I was thinking about putting some missile launchers in the front here, but I thought, nah, can't be bothered to do that. Might as well just be a gun ship. At the back, I was thinking about putting a couple of, well, not a turret, but a couple of machine guns on the back, but on a rotor system. It was going to be revolutionary, so that it had a 45 or a 90 degree turning arc, so that as I was flying along I point it down, and if anybody got up my rear end, basically fold them up into its facing backward angle and fire them off that way. Well, that's what I was thinking of doing anyway. Powered by two large ion thrusters, just like this one at the back. Like for a completely different shape here. This one's got more machine guns than you can ever dream of. I don't think that would actually be able to fit through the hangar doors that we had on the combat map we were running on. Hand built, we didn't use any of the symmetry mode because I just cannot get on with symmetry mode. I don't know why I have to hand build them. That's what I did with my ships last night that I fought. Ooh, almost gave it away there. Right, let's take this ship up. And as you can see, this one's just as nimble. Ooh, almost slammed the front end down into my lovely little base that I've got currently built up. She is nimble. She's got 3 forward facing small thrusters to negate the 2 rear large ion thrusters, and a whole load of thrusters, and I have, as you can see, the thrust exhaust on the sides thrust just enough to actually miss everything. The underside thrusters, this is a low slung ship. I tried to keep everything so that when you land it actually lands quite flush. It looks like there's no landing gear, like on the Wolf. This thing's pretty good. Oh, hello. That'll keep this thing. Right, now that we've seen the Drognar, as I've named it, don't ask me why. So this is basically a heavy gunship without any missiles. Looks like a snub-nosed. But the only way I thought about making the angles going up here, I thought about just doing pyramid shape. I don't know why, going up around the main hull. Don't ask me why. Right, that's that. And my first ever attempt at a large ship. If I remember rightly, everything is piped up. It's not symmetrical. I tried doing this with symmetry mode. It hasn't exactly come off the way I wanted it, but it still works. Where we was before, we were in the hangar bay. I know the doors are open. And I just closed myself in there. Nah, typical. Close the doors behind me. Simplistic bridge. Command consoles for the turrets and everything. You can take command. 4 gunners. We've got a command seat here. Pilot. Secondary pilot. More helmsman than anything else. This one's more pilot, helms, you know, navigation, but this is the main command seat just here. It was my first ever attempt at actually making a carrier type like Corvette. Never really thought I'd be able to do it. It works. If I load that up. She definitely works. It's a work in progress. I'm not really that good at large ship building. I can do small ships quite easily, but large ships, I'm finding them a lot more tougher to build, especially with only the vanilla blocks. That's more of a, if any ship comes towards my forward hangar bay, I'll fire them off. Ah, got to reload. Oh well. That's the end of that. And now I thought I'd angle it down so that when you went down here, you run through there, through there, then you run off the back end. Yes, it's a little bit undefended. Back here, as you can see, you can go through there. But the good thing about this ship is it's got two areas to the hangar bay. Alright, if we run through here, we've got a cargo hold with oxygen generators. I've got to get the oxygen stuff all fed up into the bridge. That's the next key objective with this. It's a build in progress. Power and gyroscope rooms with more oxygen, and I don't think there's any hydrogen builds in here. But I think this has got enough power to actually fly me where I want to go. Two gravity generators, which gives us, currently, seeing as we're inside the platform's gravity field, it gives us 3G, but that should give us 2. Thought I'd go for a little bit more. But this is my first ever attempt at a large ship. I'm sure we've all been there. Started off at some point just not really knowing how we're going to make a large ship. Right. Now we go on to the live stream Xocliw ships I built last night. I was going to fly down one of my ships so you can see how nimble it was. Right. Dromiad. Marks 1 and 2. Totally not survivable ready. More for quick build playoffs really. It had, the area we were fighting in was a very, very tight, tunnely type terrain, totally pitch black. I actually went down to my side light so that I can actually get a better image of what the heck I was looking at. So actually, instead of using my forward light, instead of using this forward light here, which is the only light I've got on these ships, try and get a little bit better night vision so I could actually see where the ships were actually coming from, the weapons fire. I mean, she is fully capable. I know for a fact she is. The maximum amount of firepower we allow were 4 Gatling guns on the front. Fun building this. It was on a 40-minute build off before we even took the ships in. Some of the designs everyone was building was awesome. I called this the Dromiad. It got put down as the flat butt. Or sorry, I get this right. Da flat butt. Because if you have a look, oh, we're on the wrong ship. Oh god. Alright, here we go. So if we go like that and turn my light on, it's a very, very flat bottomed ship. Do you think I had enough of a power plant there? 4 large ion thrusters. If we go in, I kept it so that it was all piped up to the weapons. 2 small containers, you have to manually fill them. It's not even connected up to the cockpit, so I made it look, the bottom end of it, like a hovercraft type ship. I could have recessed these a little bit better. But if I go up to here, there's quite literally 6 gyroscopes in here. Hence the manoeuvrability. That's what I went for, was 6 gyros. The extra bit of noise I think you're hearing is the new oxygen sound whilst inside your suit. Here we go on to the Dromiad Mark II. We were told after the first round I had the front end of my ship blown off in a front end combat, which completely destroyed it. That meant I was out of it rather quickly. First ever combat proper combat simulation with my own built ship. I was hoping that I'd be able to get in there, turn around, 180, fire off a whole load of rounds. Apparently I'm a pretty good combatant. Xocliw actually said that I was manoeuvring quite well. I was strafing to the side and trying to spin and rotate at the same time, but as I did that, my cockpit came into view and just got blatted. So we were told after round 1, round 2 we were allowed to have about 10-15 minutes to upgrade our ships, learn where you made the mistakes. I kept everything the same, but I reinforced the guarding on my outer Gatling guns, or the ones next to my cockpit, so if they did get taken out, it would have been fine. And I put this little bit of extra reinforcement up here, actually covers a bit of my cockpit, so it gave me a little bit more extra fun. I decided to put in a few more thrusters, so in the beginning it was only 5 thrusters here, now it's 6 on either side, 4 in the rear power pack. There was 6 on the top, now there's 8. And I recessed 2 of the underside thrusters so that they would actually be hidden, so I'd still have a little bit of manoeuvrability. She did work quite well. Actually, I lasted a heck of a lot longer in the Mark II than I did the Mark I. I've got to admit, building up my own ship in 40 minutes, that was impressive. It fought well. I lasted 20 times longer than I ever did. If I could get a few more people, into kind of like a build-off, could actually record it and actually upload it. As you can see, this one's just as twitchy as the rest of them. I went for nimble ships, but the one thing you should have noticed, these 2 ships are not equal on either side. It's far from it. One side is actually longer than the other. And if you go around to the front, turn my light back on because I just turned it off. These 2 ships, the way I designed them, they are not equal at all. That was the whole point of this, was to make it as unequal as possible. As you can see on the Mark I, I did forget a few little bits and pieces like here on the corners. But on the Mark II I did update that. But basically those were the 2 ships I took into battle. In the second round I took out someone. I didn't mean to ram them. I was strafing them as I came from right to left. As I was strafing them, I hit the forward button and my cockpit got taken out, so I had a little bit of manoeuvrability, but they were coming towards me, so as they took out my cockpit I got launched out of it. Ended up, I think it was a Dr. Octonopus or something, I think that was his name. As he took out my cockpit, I took out his, I think, and basically, no, I took out his by my ship just slowly floating into his, and we both got taken out pretty much at the same time. But it done the job. It kept fighting up until the last. My game did crash, but that was kind of rather annoying. But I just thought I'd show this one to you. This is my creative world where I'm trying to figure out a few more things in vanilla mode before I start loading in a few mods and then trying to start up another big ship. Look at that power pack. I mean, personally, I think this is quite nice looking. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, from the side it looked kind of flattish there, didn't it? But what I've done is I've actually angled that part of the armour. I couldn't with the box and voxels of the actual turrets. They sit in a certain position so that they're actually quite wide, so I couldn't actually get defensive armour wrapped around them, so I had to make defensive trenches, I suppose. I've done that to both sides of that. But as you can see, the forward weapons are turrets and everything with rocket launchers. That's pretty much it. I can't really show you anything else because I haven't really gone back to this world until last night. Oh, what do you think to these recessed large thrusters to give myself a little bit of extra reverse thrust once I get going? Hopefully that should do the job. I'm not going to guarantee a thing. She does maneuver quite well. Had to recess some of these side thrusters. It is an oddity. Well, most of my ships are oddities. What am I on about? Have you been watching my single series? They're all oddities. They just come together as I go along. But I think it's quite nice. It's nice that I'm building completely different to other people. I'm still learning about the large ship builds. As you can see, this is my first ever build, so it's not... Well, no, I tell a lie. It's not actually my first ever build. My first ever build was a big brick block with one engine at the back, 2 solar panels on either side with one engine at the rear. It didn't exactly stop, and that was back in the early days when I started playing creative mode. But I think it's nice. I think the way I've built this up and everything, it's quite nice. Still got to make it a little bit more. As you can see, even up there the piping is not exact. I don't work on exacts. I work on approximation. If it looks right, it's right. I'm happy. That's how my builds are unique. I think that will do for this little showdown of my vanilla build world. And I shall see you next time. Stay frosty and don't die. Bye bye.